So I'm in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which has been in the top 10 for most dangerous cities in the state of Tennessee for years. Mainly due to the population. Their population's only 6,300, so you get one homicide here and your murder rate is like 16. You get, 50 assaults and your assault rate is as high as, or higher than Chicago. So it's not like there's a large number of, it's just due to the population. So statistically, on a per capita basis, it falls in there as one of the more dangerous cities in the state of Tennessee. It's 72% white, 20% Hispanic, and 1% Asian. There is barely a black population here at all. There's hardly any. The average age is 38, and 25% of the population is seniors. So it's kind of an older population, and it's got a weird 45% female to 55% male population. So you got far more men living here than women. So if you're a single woman and you're looking for a man, this is a good place to go because there aren't that many women compared to the men here. The average income's around $31,000 a year, which is on the low side. There's a 21% poverty rate, which is kind of typical in America for a city that has higher crime, but it's kind of on the high side too. So basically 1 in 5 of the people that live here live below the poverty line. There's a 45% marriage rate, which is actually pretty good. Typically you'd want to see it over 50%, but America, just a lot of these cities people just aren't getting married in a lot of these cities. 44% of the people that live here were either born in Pigeon Forge or born in Tennessee. So less than half of the people that live here were born in the state of Tennessee. 17% are listed as foreign born, and 15% are listed as non-citizens. So they have a huge non-citizen. That's a large number when you think about the fact that somebody actually has to admit that they were not here legally. And this basically looks like, this town I don't expect to see like, graffiti and stuff like that. It looks like it's a tourist town. And the reason that the crime is high is they probably get tourists in here that come in and are drunk and, causing trouble. And it might not even be the people that live here. That happens in a lot of these touristy type cities. So they have between 0 and 1 homicides a year. And like I said earlier, the murder rate is, when they get 1, is about 16. A murder rate of 10 is considered regular city bad, but I mean, with 1 homicide putting them over the top, I'm not going to knock the city that 1 homicide brings it up. And they don't even have a homicide every year. A lot of the years are just 0. So it's not a city that I would consider like dangerous in any way in that regard. The assault rates are typically in the 500s, which is Chicago levels. So that on a per capita basis is actually pretty high. In 2021, like a lot of cities, 2020 got bad after the summer of Floyd and all that, but 2021 was the year that the city's crime rates just shot way up. And the assault rates here were 796 that year. So that's well higher than Chicago. Baltimore's like 900, so it wasn't as bad as Baltimore, but way higher than Chicago in 2021. But they managed to bring it back down. Their theft rates are also way down from over the last few years, because before like 2020, it was in the 5,000 to 8,000s per 100,000 people, their theft rate. But now, the last couple of years, it's been in the 3,000s to 4,000s, which is still a little on the high side, but it's showing the city, the police force here is actually trying, and they're putting forth an effort to make the city safer. The violent crime here is 122% higher than the national average. And and the property crime's 102% higher. So the property crime's right at regular city levels. The problem is this, in my opinion, is considered a small town just due to its population. And to have regular city levels of violent crime and property crime, you know, like a city that it would be like a 200,000 people population, city levels of crime. It's, you know, it's high for a small town, but again, it's a tourist town. Your odds of becoming a victim of a crime here are 1 in 21, which is kind of a typical number. But they're showing a year-over-year decrease in crime of 22%. So it's really showing the city is really, I mean, they had that spike year with after 2020 and all the lockdowns and the summer of Floyd. 2020 spiked really bad, but they've managed to bring it down to even levels that were better than prior to 2020, which most cities haven't been able to accomplish that. There's a 48% home ownership rate here, which is 25% lower than the national average. And that statistic would mean something if it wasn't that it was so much of a touristy town, where most of the people that are here don't live here. The schools here, on the other hand, only 31% of the kids graduate proficient at reading and math. So less than 1 in 3 graduate at a 12th grade level. The state of Tennessee is horrible. Their state average is 35%. And the U.S. average is only 48%. So less than half the kids in America graduate high school with a 12th grade level of reading and math. And Tennessee's about 1 in 3. And here in Pigeon Forge, it's even worse, less than 1 in 3. 74% of the people live here completed the 8th grade, and 73% completed high school. So that's a really low percent of the population. Only basically around 3 out of every 4 people completed high school here. That's not a high number, but this is America in the 2020s, and it's a bad number, but it's not, compared to a lot of other cities, it's not even really something that you would consider bad. 19% of the people that live here have a bachelor's degree or higher. So it's, you know, it's not the most educated of cities, but it's certainly not the worst as far as America goes. This was probably a boring drive through the town. It's just a touristy town. There was a bunch of touristy things to look at. So there was no, you know, no graffiti, no nothing. And I imagine this city's been on the top 10 for a while. And I imagine that they're doing a really good job of getting it to a point where it's safer, and they're you know, catching the criminals and stuff here. But at the same time, it's a small town with a lot of tourists. So the numbers are, no matter what they do, I don't know that they ever get it too low. It's probably safe to live here. If you wanted to live here, it's probably completely safe. The crime numbers are just skewed by the large number of tourists that they get. But it was kind of cute to drive through here. They got a lot of, like, whatever that is, beyond the lens technotainment. I mean, they got a lot of cute little touristy things to do. Hatfields and the McCoys dinner feud. You know, there's a lot of cute things here. Hard Rock Cafe that you could come and do, but it's one of those, if you did come here, it looks like it's like super safe place to be. You probably just have to, like anywhere, you know, kind of just keep your eye out, you know, for what's going on. But they did bring the theft rate down, and that's good, because in the touristy towns, that's one of those things that a lot of times are bad, and people don't think about how, even if it looks safe, the thieves are out there. They're watching you. Even if you don't know it, they're watching you. And there's a lot of these, you know, looking for Bigfoot things I've been seeing in this area. I can see the Bigfoot on the side of that building. So people, you can see all the Bigfoots, yeah, leaning against the wall there. So this is a place that they probably do a lot of the Bigfoot, you know, those people that go out and look for Bigfoot and stuff. But that was Pigeon Forge. I'm not going to do the drive any further through here. That was Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Consistently a top 10 most dangerous city in Tennessee. And, you know, mainly just because of its small population and the fact that they get a lot of tourists here. So hope you enjoyed that drive through Pigeon Forge. And thanks for watching.